welcome back to Rockfish Farm. So today is super windy. It may not seem like it right here because this barn, the way it sits, it blocks a ton of the wind. But we just came back from the riding arena and she was just very reactive. This is Dippin' Dots, by the way. If you haven't been following along, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like and leave us a comment below. But this is Dippin' Dots. She's one of our new girls, and so I'm working on training her. Like I said, we were up at the riding arena and she was just very reactive because of the wind. I mean, you know, we're right near the woods, and so, you know, that doesn't set her up for the best success with her training. And so we just kind of stopped, and I spent maybe 15 minutes up there and just decided, you know what, this is not gonna set her up for the best work today. And so we came back down to the barn, and I want to work a little bit. Oh, we're tired from that little bit though. So I want to work on and show you some like windy day, cold day exercises that you can do with your horse. They're not really like an exercise, but they are to be able to move your horse around a little better. Like when they're on the cross ties and you need to scoot their butt away, are you pressing super, super hard to press their hindquarters away, or their head, or to back them up or lower their head? These are all things that you can do inside of the barn and practice every single day so that your horse is more respectful to you and when you are asking them to just move their hindquarters away. So let's get started and I'll show you some of these things that I do. Okay, so I'm going to start with her just in a halter. You can use any halter you want. I obviously like the training halters and lead ropes. But you can start with a training halter and lead rope, okay? And so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna lower the horse's head. So if we ever need them to, she actually does pretty good with that. She doesn't with some of this other stuff. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab the snap and just pull down very lightly. If you want your horse to be light, see I'm removing all pressure when she actually does it. No matter how far she takes it down, I want to release all of that pressure. In the beginning, you're not going to get a whole lot. You're going to reward the slightest try for all of these exercises. And so in the beginning, you're not going to get a whole lot, but then eventually you're going to get it to where they're going to take a few steps or lower their head all the way down. And you're going to build upon that each day. If you want your horse to do these things with a gentle touch, then you have to start with a gentle touch. And so we're gonna start with, think about it as like a gnat, okay? A gnat touching your horse. They can feel it, okay? I'm just very lightly touching. She did very good. And then you're gonna move up to maybe a fly. And then you're gonna move up to maybe like a bee, okay? And then you're gonna finally, you will do this, okay? So you start with the lightest pressure and build upon it until they do it. And then the next time you do it, you start always at that light pressure, okay? Does that make sense? So if she wasn't, I would then go up to a fly and just, let me show you with another exercise since she does pretty good with that. Sometimes you'll have to hold them and hold that lead rope until they actually budge the slightest bit. And it's like just the littlest bit of give with that. You can also press behind or between their ears on the pole. You can hold. I'm starting with gnat, fly, she's down. Okay, she's down with the fly. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to start with the gnat. I'm just going to kind of very lightly touch my fingers up here. And I'm going to hold for like 3 seconds, and then I'm going to go to the fly. Okay, she came down a little bit. And then, so gnat, fly, bee, there we go. So we had to go up to a bee that time, right? So we had to get a little bit more pressure there, but as soon as she goes down, I release. And then I always start back. Gnat, fly, went down just a little bit. Eventually they'll get it. They'll get it. Obviously she's not going straight down all the way with that gnat, but eventually they will. Okay, so you can lower the head either by the halter or by your fingertips at the pole. The next one I want to do is asking her to back up. So there's a couple ways that you can do this. Here in the barn, how we would ask them to back up is either going to be by the halter. So same thing, you're going to kind of put your hand on that snap, and you're going to kind of just press backwards your gnat, your fly, and she took a step back. Like I said, you're going to have to build upon it, okay? So, gnat, fly, and release, okay? So I'm not necessarily pushing on her until I get maybe up to that bumblebee, or you will take a step back, okay? And each time you do this, you're going to ask for a little lighter, and you're going to ask for a little bit more. So she should be, when I put this on her, eventually I want her to really step back like that. Okay, so we're going to go gnat, fly, and if she's not moving, I might would kind of get up to the bee, or you will do this, kind of pop on that rope a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to practice this over and over. See, now she knows I'm going back to that gnat, and now she knows I don't want to have my halter snap, so we're a little bit lighter here, okay? All right, next exercise is same thing, backing up, but we're going to do it by pressure on the chest. So I'm going to take my fingertips like this. You can see AJ is very upset he's in a stall right now. So I'm going to take my fingertips like this, and I'm going to place it on her chest, kind of in that indentation right here. And I'm just going to place it there and hold. Gnat, fly, she's not moving. Bumblebee, I'm kind of really digging. She did take a little bit of a step back. I should have released. And then if you have to, you can hold the pressure very, very strongly until they step back, or if you need to add the bumping on that rope again until they understand, that'll work too. So, fingertips, gnat, fly, bumblebee, and I'm holding, and she took a step back, okay? So each day a little lighter, she should get a little better with a little lighter pressure. Girl, you feel a little better down here at the barn, huh? Without all that wind. I mean, it's crazy how much less wind is right here. I think we're supposed to get 20 to 30 mile an hour winds later this afternoon. So we're just gonna kind of hang out in the barn here a little bit. Okay, so the next I'm gonna do is a hindquarter yield. And again, I'm gonna use my fingertips, but I wanna have a rope and and I wanna hold it kind of tight because I wanna stay out of the kick zone, and I want to, now you know your horse, okay, and what they're going to do. But in case you don't know what that horse is going to do, then you want to hold this kind of tight and flex their head towards you while you do this, while you're standing back here. So you can practice flexing their head if you need to. And if they're tipped that way, it's harder for them to kick you because then you can pull on them very quickly and they'll step their hindquarters away. Okay, so we're going to get our fingertips out again, and we're going to place it kind of right here in this point of the hip. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm watching her head while I'm placing it. I want it always tilted towards me. And I'm going to place my fingertips very lightly. Then I'm going to go up to my fly. Then I'm going to go up to my bumblebee. And she stepped away. Okay? Then I'm going to rub it away. Say, good girl. You know, lots and lots of praise while you're doing this. And this will take a couple days. Eventually you can get it to where she spins around in a whole circle. But here at the barn, you don't necessarily need that all the time, right? But you should work on up to that. So I'm going to place my hands at the point of her hip. Gnat, fly, bumblebee, good. Now she's not crossing over, but eventually she will. So I just want her to get the concept today. So your first lesson or two is always like a concept lesson. Good girl. And then you're just going to keep working that again. Hold your light, your gnat, your fly. Hi. Good, I didn't have to go up to the bumblebee that time. Good girl. Good girl. Okay, so that was good. And so now we're going to do the same thing with the forequarters. Sometimes we want to be able to move their neck out of the way. So again, we're going to take our fingertips, And I suggest on the side that you're standing, the hand closest to you is the one that's going to hold the lead rope. And then the hand on the outside is the one that is going to do the pressing, okay? So we're going to go right here in like the jawline. Okay, that little indentation somewhere in there. You can go on the face if you want to. Wherever you decide to do it, just be consistent with that so they know where you're pressing is, you know, what you're asking for, okay? So, you know, I might try here. And so I always find that the 4/4 are the hardest to move and to get them to realize what you want to do. So do you see how I put that first pressure on and all she did was move her head? Okay, so sometimes you have to start there. It's not always going to be the crossing of the front feet, but that is the ultimate goal. And I find that this takes several weeks to really get it. Maybe not weeks, but if you're working this every day, I would say it would take almost an entire week to get to the point where you can spin them around in a circle with your fingertips very, very lightly, maybe slightly longer, maybe 10 days. But so the first part might be that you're going to be just getting them to move their head and neck over. See? Okay. Good girl. And then we're going to rub it away. So then eventually, once they understand you want them to move it away, you're going to ask for the front feet to cross over and essentially move out of the way. If you've got a horse, you've got her on cross ties, but you've got one coming down the barn, you want to easily be able to maneuver your horse all different places, or the farrier's working on it. When they put their fingertips on it, they should be able to move your horse very easily instead of having to pressure your horse into moving, right? That makes their jobs very easy. So let's do it again. So we're going to press. Now I'm going to ask her for a step. So I'm going to keep pressing. And sometimes, so she didn't cross over the front. I like for the outside leg to cross over the front. That's okay. Again, steps, right? Okay, so you're just going to kind of hold it until they do it. Let's try it one more time. To the fly, and then the bumblebee, and then sometimes you can put, yes, good girl. Good girl. Doing stuff like this, I like to have treats. I got this little dog treat pouch on Amazon, but it's great because I'm always leaving treats in my pocket. So I'll link this in the description below if you like it, because I like having it. The horses always know, like, oh, you've got your pouch on. You got your pouch on. So I don't do it for every single one, but after we have a good session, you know, I like to give her a treat. So what you do to one side, you always want to do to the other side. So make sure you hit up the other side as well. Every single day, don't make one side better than the other, okay? And then the last one that we should do is picking up the feet. Right, she's really good at picking up her feet. I will say she came to me like that. So that is always really great. So a lot of people will, and you can do this any way that you want to. Don't think I'm sitting here going, don't do it that way or do it this way, because I really can't stand when I hear those words with horses, because there's a lot of ways to get from point A to point B. So do your way. And so I like to grab the chestnut on the front legs. And so when I rub my hand down, I'm going to touch the chestnut, which actually she's not giving it to me. Usually she does right away. I'm going to squeeze the chestnut. So same thing. Gnat, fly, bumblebee, and then I just hold it. And sometimes I'll wiggle that chestnut and until she picks up her foot. Now she doesn't have to hand it to me, just the slightest lift, or maybe even she shifts off of it at first. If you have to get that far, then the key is to not release the chestnut until you get what you want, because the release of pressure is what teaches. Okay, it's not the pressure itself, it's that release of pressure. They're going, oh, okay, they took that pressure off and left me alone. That must be what they wanted me to do. So I'm going to grab the chestnut, touch it, and eventually you want to get it to where she puts it. Yes, she lifts it and holds it for you. Okay, now, good girl. On the back leg, good girl. Good girl, yeah. On the back leg, I grab the hock. So she already knows what I want. Hello, good girl. So I'm gonna rub down and I'm gonna touch the hock, and you can squeeze the hock. Good girl. Good girl. So you can put your hand there, squeeze it, same thing, same 3-4 steps, and just keep holding that pressure. Sometimes you might have to like tap. If you get up to that, you will do this right now. You can tap on it to try to get that, take the pressure off. Start slow, take the pressure off, then lift it up. Other people will grab like the fetlock hairs and grab. You can do that way too. However you want to do it, just stick with that and teach that, and that's how you always pick it up. So these are the things that I work on with my horses, especially on days like this where we don't need to be in the riding arena. And it just makes your horse a better overall companion, more responsive to you and your aids, and respect on the ground, right? If we need to move them out of the way, I know that I can get them to. Girl. Good. I know that I can get them to maneuver any way that I want to. So thanks for joining Dippin' Dots and I today. We hope that you will subscribe so that you can follow along her journey and all the horses here. And we have a busy spring planned, so we're super excited for it. We're ready for this cold weather to get out of here if it's not going to drop some snow on us. So we are in Southern Virginia. I've had a lot of people ask where we're at. And I know a lot of people are getting dumped on with snow, and I wish that we were as well, because I love snow and I miss it. But, whatever. Just hang out till spring, getting all this stuff done. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.